Hi, my name is Kara and I have been procrastinating. So even though I am no longer in school, like I no longer have like assignments due like every week or so, I have found ways to procrastinate and it hasn't been great. Like I've been procrastinating on making YouTube videos, I've been procrastinating on like starting my Christmas presents for everybody, I've been procrastinating on test knits that I've done. Like I basically waited until the day before a deadline for a test knit for Jamie at Jamie Creates, and I was able to finish it in that morning, like because it was super chunky yarn, I was making the smallest size, like it was super chill. But it wasn't great that I had procrastinated on that because I ended up having to finish the sweater while waiting in line at a pizza parlor because I had already made like lunch plans with somebody and like I couldn't bail on that because I hadn't seen him in forever. But I still needed to finish the sweater, and I need to finish the sweater while I still had daylight so I can get pictures done and stuff. Like, it was a whole adventure. And if you saw me standing in that pizza parlor, like on the stairs and just like standing and knitting, just know I was on a deadline. And today I'm here to talk to you about all of the knitting that I have to do. So today is December 19th, and I just got back from New York, and I'll be back in LA for a little bit. And so I'm back in LA for a few weeks, but I have done virtually no Christmas presents. So last year I ended up doing a bunch of Christmas presents during July, and also if you hear the coughing, my dog's back here. He's just hiding. He wants to hang out with me. He missed me. I missed him. It's great to be home. But anyways, last year I ended up doing most of my Christmas presents during July because I was super in the mood to like do a bunch of super chunky knits, and the only way I could justify making a bunch of super chunky knits during the summer was to be like, oh, is it going to be Christmas presents? So it was absolutely no stress to finish all those presents because I had done them about 5 to 6 months beforehand. And I'm no stranger to saying that I'll make a Christmas present for somebody and then taking like 6 months to finish it. I've done that to a few of my friends, sorry, and both times they were like big oversized sweaters for men, and so I just kind of lost enthusiasm for the projects. I ended up finishing both of them, but both of them were about 6 to 7 months late. But what I can tell you is that I flew back yesterday on the 18th, so exactly 1 week before Christmas, and all I had was a suitcase full of yarn and plans to make presents. So I've decided that I'm able to repurpose a few of the projects that I've done the past like few weeks and make them Christmas presents for people because I think I like unwittingly chose these like colors and designs, and I've actually come to realize that they're actually great for some of the people that I need to make gifts for. So I'm going to make it a little bit easier on myself to just repurpose those projects and not have to knit them whole new gifts. And I do feel a little bit bad, but honestly, like, I've never even worn these projects. Like, I've just worn them to take pictures in them, and like, it's almost like I knit them explicitly for that person. They'll just never know unless they watch this video. And I have a full like list of people that I need to make gifts for and like ideas that I have for them. And I basically only brought yarn with me here so that I can make presents for them. And the thinking was also like, oh, like you can make most of the presents that you want to make for people in LA while you're in LA. You just have something to do over break. Hey, Ollie. Yeah, but basically I have like 11 projects that I need to make, and obviously I'm not gonna be able to make all 11 of them before Christmas, and honestly some of them I'm gonna have to strategize it a bit and just like push the presents that I'm making for people in New York to after Christmas because it's not like they're gonna get them before anyways. I definitely need to prioritize the family that I'm seeing. Yeah, so I have 11 projects. I don't necessarily have ideas for all of them, but I'm going to try to show you guys how I'm going to be making these projects over the next few days. And I am planning to post this video after Christmas, so don't worry, there's no spoilers for people. It's also not like, I don't think that these people are necessarily watching these videos, so yeah. The first project that I have is for my brother's fiance, so my future sister-in-law, and she casually mentioned to me in October that she needed a new blue and white sweater, and it was actually not really mentioned to me, but more to my brother, and I just happened to be there. And so I kept that in mind because I normally have no idea what to knit for her. And so, yeah, I decided to make her a blue and white striped sweater, and I decided to make her a Better Days sweater. And this is in 2 strands of Hip Knit Shop fluff yarn in blue and white. I'll put them in the description, and I decided to hold it double to give it more body. And I absolutely love this sweater. I am so tempted to steal it and keep it. But you know what? If you're knitting Christmas presents and you have literally no other alternatives, because I absolutely need to give it to her and I just have no choice, Anyways, I finished one sleeve and I was knitting this on the flight back from New York to LA, and I was like, oh, like let me put my bag in the overhead bin, and then I'm in like the most inside seat, not the aisle seat, the window. I was in the window seat. And I was like, okay, let me bring 2 skeins of each of the colors for myself, and like that'll be fine. Like I can just use that, like I won't need more than that. And about 3.5 hours into the flight, I ended up running out of yarn. So now I know that it takes me about 3.5 hours to make the full body of this sweater in this particular size, which is somewhere between a small and a medium, because I lost track of how many stitches I was using. And yeah, it's fine. She likes things a little bit looser than I do. Yeah, so then it took me about like another hour or so to knit this sleeve, and then it'll probably take me another hour to finish this other sleeve. So we are on track for presents for this one, because if I need to knit about 11 presents before Christmas, which is in 6 days, I need to knit more than 1 present a day. And that's a little bit stressful. But fortunately, I'm using mostly like 15mm needles for all these projects, so hopefully it'll be okay. I am planning to finish this one today and then start my sister's present tonight as well, and I will keep you guys updated on that. These two are definitely going to be knit on 15mm needles, so there's no stress. And I've also kind of strategized it so that like I didn't buy any new yarn for all these projects. Like I just literally went through my stash in New York and was like, okay, like what colors would suit this person? Would they like this project? Do I have any projects that I'm excited about to make for them and stuff? Like, yeah. And so it's a fun little like 2-for-1 special, in that like I'm getting rid of a bunch of the yarn that I have in New York and like I'm giving it to people as gifts, and I'm also like kind of getting some presents done. Yeah, because like being back in LA has just shown me that like I used to live a life of luxury, and that like there is so much space for yarn storage and like sweater storage, and I just don't have that in New York now. And so I need to be far more strategic than I have been. So I'm really trying not to buy any more new yarn, and I'm going to try to bust through the stash that I have in order to make all these presents. Okay, I am finishing up the second sleeve now, and then I'm gonna have to weave in a bunch of ends, but I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on this yarn. So I made the original Better Day sweater in Mohair So Soft from Moopy Mango, which is very soft, very lovely, but also very expensive. And I was actually gifted a bunch of the Fluff yarn by Hip Knit Shop. So I was like, let's try it. It's technically, I think, like a bulky weight, Aran weight. It's like 50 grams per 100 meters. But holding a double makes it really, it doesn't make it last as long, but it does give it that body that I really like. So it gives it that like super bulky but very airy texture. So like you can knit it on 15mm needles and it won't be like completely see-through, but it is like a lot airier and fluffier. And I really do like holding it double. I will say it was kind of awful to knit from the same skein though. So what I would do for this sweater is I would pull from the center and also from the side. And the mohair doesn't stick to itself a lot, so like the side bits, like the outside rings, would just fall off and then become super tangled. And I cannot tell you how much of my life I've spent detangling yarn, but what I can tell you is that I have spent at least like 20 to 30 minutes total of just detangling yarn for this sweater, just because like the mohair is really sticky, so then it sticks to itself and then it just creates knots, and it's hard to detangle it because mohair is so fluffy that you can't really see the fibers that well to detangle it. So if I were to knit this sweater again, I would definitely pull from the center of 2 skeins at once rather than just from the outside and center of 1 skein, just to make things a little bit easier for yourself. But I think that this will probably take about like 3.5 to like 4 skeins of yarn total of each color. So like it might not always be possible to use 2 skeins because maybe you just bought 3 skeins of yarn because you only needed 3 skeins, and so you don't want to buy a 4th just so that you can pull from 2 balls at once. It's a give and take. Just be really careful. And honestly, if I had had the forethought or the time, I might have wound up these skeins beforehand and held them double. But I didn't have that type of time. I was jumping on a flight and I was packing like the night before, of course. So yeah, that's my piece of advice for this sweater. Okay, I have finished this up, and yes, I have to weave in all the ends, but I'm just going to try it on and show you guys because I think it's so freaking cute. And this is omitting the bottom band just because I didn't have any elastic on the flight and I finished the body on the plane, and I'm just getting mohair all over my face. That's another thing about this yarn, is that it is mohair, so it will shed. but I have yet to ever find a mohair that doesn't shed, because if you want that like lovely fluffy halo effect with mohair, you're gonna get the shedding. Anyways, look how cute it is. Very happy with how it turned out. I think that she'll really like it. Finishing this in like less than 24 hours gives me hope that I can finish the rest of my presents. I think the next one I'm gonna make, again, also on 50mm and 12mm needles, but I think I'm gonna do a new design, but hopefully it'll be seamless. I don't know, let me show you the yarn that I'm gonna use for this one. Okay, it is Malabrigo Rasta in the colorway Ivory, and I have eyed this colorway for so long, and it was always out of stock, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. But I finally found some, and I am now going to make a color for my sister. And my sister and I have very similar skin tones, so hopefully this will look good on her. I'm just really excited to work with this colorway, and it'll be seamless. It'll be 15mm needles. And now I just have to go wind up these skeins, because I left my electric skein winder, surprise, surprise, in New York because I didn't want to fly with it. And now I just have to make sure and pray that my parents didn't throw out my old stuff. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna have to go look for it. Okay, so quick little update. I do not have my skein winder in my Swift, so I had to wind everything by hand, which wasn't terrible because it's only like 80 meters per skein. But I need to go figure that out before I try to wind up these skeins that are like 100 meters each, which doesn't sound like much, but when it's like 600 meters total, it's a lot. Anyways, I started my project for my sister last night, and I think that because I had to hand wind all of these skeins, I got kind of tired, so I actually didn't make that much progress. And this is also the morning's work, so it's hard to tell because it's all on like one set of needles, and so it's not super spread out. But it is a split hem, and the back is a little bit longer, and now I'm just adding length to the body, and it's going super, super quickly because obviously it's on 15mm needles. I don't know for sure that I can finish this by today. I might like do the whole thing where like I finish the body and then like I save the rest for the next day, because another tricky thing is that I'm also trying to film like reels and like progress videos at the same time, which is always tricky and super dependent on the daylight, and I do a lot of knitting at night, so it's not great for progress videos. But just as an update, things are going well, and I did have to wind 5 skeins of this by hand, which wasn't terrible, but it was kind of a drag. Okay, update, it is now December 22nd. I have only finished one of the presents that I intended to, because I didn't do much knitting the past 2 days, and I don't know why. I think like it's an excuse of like me being kind of jet lagged, so I go to sleep at like 10, 11 here, and then I wake up at like 7 and start working. Yeah, and I just have been really procrastinating, and I don't know why. But now I am knitting scarves for people just to kind of get the momentum going and just like get myself into the mood of like knitting presents and finishing them. And yeah, so I have 3 scarves that I need to knit for all the men in my family because I cannot think of anything else that they would want or use. Honestly, like, I don't even know if they'll use it, whatever. And so I finished the striped sweater for my future sister-in-law, my brother's fiance, and now I'm knitting him a scarf in the same blue, just so they can match. I don't think he's gonna wear it, but maybe she'll wear it and she'll just steal it, and basically it's just 2 presents for her. Another thing is that I didn't pack as well as I thought I had, and I did not bring as much yarn as I thought I did, so we're kind of scrambling, and we're trying to figure out what yarns to use to make all these scarves, because I am not knitting a scarf on like thin needles. I am going to keep on knitting them on like 12mm needles because, yeah. And also, by the way, this is really fun to see because this is the like super simple scarf pattern that I came up with and I have a tutorial for. But it's knit on 2 strands of the chunky mohair. It's the Aran Weight mohair. It's the Hip Knit Shop fluff yarn. So it's about 50 grams per 100 meters, and then I hold it double, so it's about 100 grams per 100 meters. So a chunky weight yarn on 12mm needles, and I really like how it's knitting up. Like, it's super pretty, and honestly, I might make one for myself soon. But first, I need to knit all of these presents. Okay, I have finished the scarf for my brother, and I really like it. Again, I don't know or think that he'll ever wear it, but, you know, it'll at least match his fiance's, and if anything, she can wear the scarf, and I think she'll wear it because, I mean, I really like the color. Hopefully she'll like the color. And I just didn't have any other yarn options, and it took me about like an hour and a half to 2 hours, but that's because I was also like working at the same time, because even though it's the 22nd, I still technically have work, so I was just doing some like coding things. It's surprisingly soft. Like, I would say even though it's a mohair, it doesn't irritate my neck at all. Like, I definitely could wear this as a scarf. You don't really need that here in Southern California because it's so nice. Like, yesterday it was 70 degrees, and I think that the projections are that it's gonna go down to 20 degrees in New York this weekend. But I'm not in New York right now, so I don't need a scarf. But yeah, like, these have been like super satisfying to make, so I think that I'm just gonna keep on making the scarves for my dad and my other brother, and that'll hopefully motivate me to finish my sister's present. Because my sister's present is literally the only one that I absolutely need to do before Christmas, because everybody else, like, I'm not gonna see until like after, so I think that I'm just going to have to push all of my like the rest of my gift giving and like gift making to after Christmas, just because I'm not gonna make the deadlines. But it'll be alright because I'm not gonna see these people until like January. It is December 23rd. It's Friday. I did have to work in the morning, but I finished the scarf for my dad, and it's in 2 strands of Alpachino Merino wool in the gang in red. It's True Blood red, and I just had some of it laying around because I kept on telling myself that I was going to knit a Stanford sweater, and I never did. So yeah, I made a scarf for my dad, and to mix things up, I'm not going to make another scarf for my other brother. Instead, I'm going to make a balaclava because, I don't know, I just think that they're really fun, and I'm going to be using the Goodnight Day pattern. I don't remember what it's called, but I'll put it in the description, and I'll talk about it later. And I finished my work for this morning, and I have like a full week now before I have to go back to work. Kind of sweaty. I just came back from a walk. But yes, I will be speed knitting the balaclava today. It probably won't take me more than like 2 hours, but I really do need to finish my sister's sweater because that one I estimate I have about like 3 to 4 hours left on it, and I just keep on procrastinating at night by just like watching movies and just like laying on my phone or something, but I really do need to finish it. But technically, I have until Sunday morning, so Christmas. I can do it. I definitely can do it before then. It's only gonna be 3 to 4 hours. I just need to motivate myself. Okay, I finished the balaclava, obviously. I made it a little small. I mean, it's small for me, but my brother has a smaller face than me, so it'll probably be fine. And I really wish that these looked good on me, but they just don't. So let me harass my dog and put it on him to show you how cute it can be. And like, honestly, in red, it kind of makes me look like a gnome. But yeah. Hi. Oh my gosh, you're so handsome. No, look over here. Let's show the people the balaclava. You know, he's not trying to bite it off immediately, so maybe this one's more comfortable than the first one I ever made him. Sit. Come on, show the people. No? Can you not see? There you go. Gotta make sure the little ears show. Okay, it is December 24th, and I have completely changed what I'm making my sister because I thought that I'd be more motivated if I was doing a top-down sweater. So I'm making her a something good sweater, and I really love making this pattern because it just comes out so cozy and oversized and comfy. The pattern will come out in January, and I am just finishing up the body now, and then the sleeves will take me like an hour each, so it's 9:47 in the morning, so I think that I'll get it done. But I did have to completely change what I was making just to motivate myself, and then I had to wind up a bunch of skeins of bulky weight yarn. So I'm using Berroco Ultra Alpaca Chunky, and my sister has kind of a wool allergy. She has eczema like me, so she doesn't really like wearing like wool a lot. So hopefully the alpaca mix will make it a little bit softer, and I can attest that it is very, very soft. But it did take me forever to wind up all these skeins. Like, I had to wind up 5, and I don't really know how much yarn this will take. Hopefully it'll only take 5, but I have a 6 just in case. It's done. I have finished everybody's presents, and this one was whipped out. Like, I think I started it yesterday? Oh my god, I might have started it yesterday. I definitely started it yesterday, and because, you know, it was a top-down sweater, I was very motivated to finish it. And I also just woke up this morning, today's the 24th, and I just knew that I had to finish it, so I did. And now I'm just going to be knitting for fun because I have like another like week and a half after Christmas where I'm just gonna be in LA and before I see anybody that I need to give these presents to, so I'm just going to mess around and knit some things for fun. And not necessarily for presents, but not for presents. I don't know why I do this to myself every time. Like, I hate knitting on a deadline. Like, I like to just kind of vibe. But I will also just procrastinate if I don't have a deadline. And then wait until the deadline has almost approached. And then I will just speed knit and take the joy out of knitting a little bit for myself. But I think I also just kind of like the challenge of just seeing if I can finish all of these presents in like a very short period of time, and I did. And to be fair, quite a few of them are just accessories and they weren't full sweaters. But you know what? I finished this sweater in a day, and I literally watched so many movies while doing it. I definitely watched Alien Covenant while like winding up the skeins, and I love that movie so much. And then I started watching Three Pines, the show that's based off the Louise Penny books, and my mom and I absolutely love those books, but I haven't finished the show yet, and I think I'm gonna wait until I watch it with her. It's kind of slow, but I don't know. I also just like recently reread all of them over the summer, so it's kind of like less of a mystery and more of like a vibe because I know like what happened and like who did it, but I'm curious to see how they change it more. And then I watched Sherlock Holmes, the movie, and Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows while finishing the body and sleeves today. And I even did a little bit of knitting on the beach today because I was like, wow, the weather here is so nice. Like, I think it's like 10 degrees in New York right now, but it's about like 70 here, and life is just too good in California. Anyways, I have finished my Christmas holiday challenge to myself of just like knitting all of these presents in like a week. And there goes my dog. And you know, you guys got to follow along with the journey. I would not recommend doing this, but I will probably do it again next year because that's just who I am. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Hope we had a lovely holiday. I'm about to start relaxing now, so things will be a little bit more chill, and I'm just going to enjoy the weather in California because it is so, so nice. Like, I think I got a tan line for my shorts, and I didn't even bring more than one pair of shorts. Like, I just left a pair of bike shorts here, and now I'm just wearing them a bunch, and so I'm gonna get a really weird tan. But yeah, this is the palest that I've like ever been because I have lived in California my entire life before this, and California is always pretty sunny no matter what, and now I live in New York and there's very little sun, and when there is sun, I'm usually indoors or like in between buildings, so there's like no direct sunlight for me. But yeah, hope you have a lovely rest of the day, happy holidays, and happy knitting. See ya.